Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to talk about the YHM R45 right here. Let's talk about it. Alright, so the R45, I remember when this guy got announced, I was super excited about it. I got so excited about it, I bought and built out a 1911 just so I could have a 45 to suppress. Alright, that's how excited I am about this. So maybe you can hear that and be like, man, your review is already skewed because you just wanted to really like this can. And that's probably true, but you know, it is what it is, and we're going to talk about it anyway. So before we really get into this, we're going to talk about specs, my least favorite part. We're going to talk about what comes in the box. I'll kind of talk to you about what I expected this guy to do. We'll head to the range, shoot some stuff, and then we'll wrap up our thoughts, all right? So first, let's read off some specs. Alright, so the R45, we have an overall length of 6.45 inches. We have a diameter of 1.563 inches. We have a weight of 13 ounces, and that's probably because its material is 17.4 stainless. It's a stainless steel can, kind of heavy, but it's a pretty beast of a can. The finish is high temperature black Cerakote. Caliber ratings, 4570, 350 Legend, 762 by 39, 6.8, 5.56, 300 Blackout, 45 ACP. Basically, if you have a rifle cartridge that is 45 caliber and below, keep the barrel length 16 inches or longer. That's what they want you to do, right? 300 Blackout, you can go shorter. It says an 8-inch minimum barrel. We kind of broke that rule a little bit when we go shoot, and I have a 5-inch 300 Blackout. So, yeah, I kind of voided that warranty, but it did pretty well on subs. Supers was a little bit loud. Spoiler alert. For 45 ACP, they say to have a 3-inch barrel minimum. I'm not sure of any like super compact 45 ACPs. Maybe there's some pistol caliber carbines out there that are like that, but they want you to keep it 3 inches or longer. All right. So that's your basic specs. Yeah, for those people that really wanted to know, that's what that is. Let's talk about what comes in the box. All right, so in the box, you obviously get the box itself. You have the instruction manual. Make sure you do read that. I just kind of skim over stuff, but it is important to read things, right? Because you never know, you might have a little nugget of something that helps you out in that, right? As far as like mounting things or specific barrel ratings and different things. Read your instructions. Don't just throw it away or keep it in the box and never open it. Just read it real quick. And maybe you'll find something you didn't know. All right. Also, it comes with a sticker, your little warning manual. You'll get 2 wrenches. This is kind of cool. I'm glad companies are doing this. One wrench specifically just goes on the suppressor itself. You got these little bullet-looking knurlings, and then every now and then you have not a flat, but a notch, right, for your wrench. That goes on there. On your other wrench, you also have the same little notch that will go on the suppressor, but you also have this cutout here, so you can use that to attach your muzzle devices, right? You also have this little, I think it's a 1/2-inch drive bit, so you could put your Torx bar on here to torque down if you're like semi-permanently attaching your suppressor mounts. If we didn't already say it, the suppressor mount that comes with this one is a 5/8 by 24 direct thread, all right? And you obviously get the can itself. All right, so let's talk about this can for just a little bit. It didn't really say it in the data sheet, and it might be in there somewhere, but this does have the hub industry standard thread pattern in the back. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Let me take a second here to say thank you to YHM for doing that, and a bunch of the other companies, not just YHM. Excuse me, there's a lot of companies out there nowadays that are having that as their standard, which allows you to use multiple companies' mounts on your suppressor. So you're not tied down to one specific company's mounts. I really appreciate that. I think it's kind of selfish, maybe some other words, maybe, when a company creates an awesome can, but then they tie you to their mounting system because it's not compatible with anything else out there. I don't like that. That's one major reason, I won't say the company, but that's one major reason I haven't bought a specific suppressor from another company, because I want to use that suppressor, but I want to use it on a bunch of guns. And in order to do that, I'd have to buy all their mounts and then transition everything. I'm not going to do that. So thankfully, YHM goes with that hub industry standard. And because of that, I'll show you some mounts that are compatible with this guy. All right, so hub industry standard. It's that 1 3/8 by 24 or 1.375 by 24. That's the pattern that you're looking for. Or some people just call it hub threading or hub adaptability. They call it different things. If you see HUB, that's what it's talking about. So this is the 5/8 by 24 direct thread that comes with it. You can also use the 1/2 by 28 direct thread. This, I do not remember the exact name of it, but this is their QD attachment from YHM. They have a shorter version, a Kurtz version, but this is compatible with their Phantom series of muzzle devices. If you are already into YHM, their QD mounts, or QD muzzle devices, this is going to work with those. And it works well. I've used it on other suppressors before, but thankfully, since this is hub standard, I can use other mounts that I have a lot of other mounts. I don't have to just use that one. This is also the YHM's 3-lug mount. This has worked well. I don't remember exactly what this guy's made it of. I think it's aluminum. It's pretty lightweight, and I've never had any problems with it. I've used it on the R45, on the R9, even some other suppressors that I have. Works really, really well. If you're going to use the R45 on a pistol, you're going to need a booster piston Nielsen device, all right? This is the one from YHM. I also have on the inside here, I have a piston from Griffin Armament, right? This is their Camelot piston. I like this for a bunch of different reasons, and I think we've done a video about that. If not, we'll do one. But you're going to need to get the correct pistons that go to the threading on your specific pistols that you're going to be using. So it's a lot of stuff you got to look up, a lot of things you got to consider, and a little research. You don't just go buy a piston and expect it to work, right? But the booster assembly, the booster housing, Nielsen device, whatever you want to call it, this is essential if you're going to use a suppressor on a pistol like the R45. You're going to need that, all right? But that's the one from YHM. It works perfectly well. Also, since it's hub industry standard, we can use the Dead Air Chemo. I like that guy. And also the Dead Air Xeno. Same threads, different applications, different uses, but these are some of the mounts that are compatible with the R45. All right, so that's your specs. That's your mount compatibility and just some major features of this guy. Let's go ahead and let's go to the range. Let's quit talking and let's shoot it. Spicy. Yep. Yep. All right, so the R45, there you go. I hope you found that interesting. I hope maybe you found it helpful. I know the audio is not going to come across super well. It never translates well from being on the range, the sound going through the microphone, getting processed, and then going through your speakers or headphones. And it's never going to be the same as in person, right? Hopefully, though, you were able to pick up on some of the differences and some of how it sounds. The only thing that I will say that this guy really, it was kind of loud, is the 300 Blackout Supers, right? It could have been my specific build that I have, and that's a 5-inch barrel. That's really short. That kind of breaks their rule as far as barrel length minimums. But with Supers, it was a little bit snappy, right? With subs, it sounded great, and then on everything else, the 30-06, 308, 4570, all those things, it sounded good. It really did sound good. One thing to note, and this is the same with the R9, we just did that video. If you're gonna use other companies' mounts, all right? Like in this case, I have the chemo mount from Dead Air. The mounts themselves work, or the adapters work, but be careful on which mounts you're gonna try to use on these guys, right? So I have an AK that I was not able to shoot through this guy because I have a Nox device on there, so that's a slightly longer and extended mount for the chemo system. Works really well on a lot of cans, but on the R9 and the R45, there's not enough depth on the inside here for where your mount goes in, so the Nox device is not compatible with this. So that's one knock I will give. That's not really for the R45. It's not really against the R45, because you got to remember, what is the R45 for, right? Direct threading onto like 4570s and things like that, or pistols. And you don't need a huge expansion chamber to insert your extra long muzzle devices, right? So that is something to consider. And in my experience, the Nox device is the only device I have right now that won't work with here. Your regular devices will work from Dead Air, and then obviously I would think any of the QD devices from YHM, they should work on here as well. I only have some, and everything that I've used from YHM works on here just fine, right? That's the only caveat I'll throw in there of something that didn't work, all right? But there you go. I'd love to know what you guys think about this. The R45. I remember when it first came out or first got announced, I was very excited about it. I've never been disappointed really with anything from YHM. It's always lived up to its name, and its cost to effectiveness. It's always worked the cans have always worked very well for me, and I've been happy and satisfied with them. So I'd love to hear back from you guys what you think. How many of you guys have actually gotten one of these cans and had the chance to shoot it? What did you think of it? And what niche did it end up landing in? Because sometimes we'll buy a can. I find this quite often, that you'll buy a can for a specific purpose or a field of use, and after using it for a while, you either it fills that goal, right? Or you find that it fits another niche really, really well, right? Something other than what you originally intended it to do. For me, this guy has lived up very well as a 45 ACP suppressor. Great on my 1911. He's a little bit heavy, but overall, it all works out very, very well. And I've actually been pretty dang surprised on how well this guy works on my 30-06 and my 308. Really well. Really surprised on those, and I'm very, very happy with that. So I'd love to hear back from you guys on what you think about this can. What would you look for in this can, and what would you want it to do, right? What would you want it to do? If there's anything I missed, please let me know. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, fire away, and I'll try to keep in contact with all you guys down there below in the comments, all right? Y'all be good to be safe, and hopefully we'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.